Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're preparing for the ACCA Financial Reporting exam, this video is for you. I want to share some of the things that really matter when it comes to passing FR, because a lot of students spend time on the wrong areas and end up making the exam harder than it needs to be. So let's keep it simple. The first thing to understand is that FR is all about preparing financial statements and applying accounting standards correctly. Whenever you're studying a topic, don't just memorize the rule. Ask yourself, how does this affect the financial statements? Once you start thinking that way, a lot of topics become much easier to understand. Now let's talk about the biggest topic in the exam: group accounts. If there's one area you absolutely cannot ignore, it's consolidation. Questions on parent companies, subsidiaries, goodwill, non-controlling interests, and unrealized profits come up all the time. A common mistake students make is rushing through acquisition dates. Always check when the subsidiary was acquired because that determines how much profit belongs to the group. Another area that catches students out is deferred consideration. If the question gives you a discount factor, use it. Don't just use the future amount. These little details can cost easy marks. The other major Section C question is usually a financial statements question with several adjustments. You'll see things like leases, provisions, loan notes, development costs, and investment properties. My advice here is simple. Stay organized. Don't jump around the question. Work through one adjustment at a time and show your workings clearly. Even if your final answer isn't perfect, you can still pick up method marks. Now let's talk about a few accounting standards that seem to appear everywhere. First is IFRS 16, which covers leases. Make sure you understand how lease liabilities work, how to calculate the right-of-use asset, and how to separate current and non-current lease liabilities. These are areas that examiners love to test. Next is IAS 38 on intangible assets. You need to know when development costs can be capitalized and when they should be expensed. Students often memorize the rules but don't really understand them. If you understand the logic behind the standard, the questions become much easier. Another important one is IFRS 9, especially loan notes and effective interest calculations. One thing to remember is that transaction costs reduce the initial carrying amount. That's a small detail, but it's tested regularly. Now here's something that many students underestimate: ratio analysis. A lot of candidates calculate ratios correctly, but then lose marks in the explanation. For example, don't just say that the gross profit margin increased from 30% to 35%. Explain why. Was there an acquisition? Did the company increase prices? Did costs fall? Did a one-off event affect the results? The examiner wants analysis, not just numbers. And finally, let's talk about preparation. The best thing you can do for FR is practice past exam questions. Honestly, there is no shortcut. The more questions you attempt, the more familiar the exam becomes. You'll start noticing the same themes, the same adjustments, and even the same mistakes that students tend to make. After enough practice, you'll spend less time figuring out what the question is asking and more time actually earning marks. So, if you're preparing for FR, focus on consolidations, understand the key accounting standards, learn how to explain ratios properly, and practice as many past questions as possible. Stay consistent, trust the process, and remember that passing FR is not about being a genius. It's about understanding the rules, applying them correctly, and getting enough practice before exam day. Good luck with your studies, and I'll see you in the next video.